Hello, my name is Chris Johnson. The following is a screencast I have prepared in advance of Back to School Night, scheduled for Thursday, September 13th. Unfortunately, I am unable to be there this evening. Um, Back to School Night is something I look forward to every year, and I regret not being there. But I do hope that over the next few minutes I can share with you a little bit about myself and about the course that your son or daughter is taking with me. So your son or daughter has signed up for AP US History. I have two sections of it this semester. I meet with one during second block, and I meet with the other during fourth block. The class will last until the end of the third marking period. So it's my privilege to work with your sons and daughters for 27 weeks. Now, the best way to contact me is via email. You can reach me at cjohnson@cbsd.org. Now, if you're interested in talking with me by phone, I'm happy to do that. Send me an email and we'll figure out a time for me to call you and talk through what you would like to discuss. My planning period is before 9 a.m. or it ends before 9 a.m. and I'm usually able to talk before that time. I'm also able to talk at the end of the school day, which ends at 2:30. Now, there are course materials I'll be making available to the students throughout the semester. Those will be available via Office 365 via a shared drive that I set up, and also via OneNote. Your students have the credentials to get into those programs. One other important detail to share with you is that your son or daughter is taking a class that's meant to prepare them for the AP US History National Exam. That is scheduled for Friday, May 10th in the morning. Now, that exam happens about a month after I am done my work with your students. They leave this class after the end of the third marking period. But my colleagues and I do work out ways to have review sessions available for the students in that month in between, because our goal is to try to set them up to meet with success as much as we can. That AP exam basically is going to assess the student's understanding of 9 broad time periods, seeing how well they understand 7 important themes to understanding American history, and see how well they have developed 4 historical thinking skills. It's quite a challenge, but over the years we've done a great job here at CB East getting the kids ready for that challenge. I spoke on the previous slide about the themes that this course assesses their understanding of. Those themes take the form of what you see on the screen here. And your sons and daughters will quite often hear me talk about how does this event that we're looking at fit into the theme of politics and power? How does it fit into the theme of migration and settlement? If I'm doing my job well, I'm pulling the students back constantly to these themes to see how they play out over our several centuries as a people. The time periods that are our job to look at are listed here. Now, I should tell you that the College Board asks us as teachers to emphasize the period starting with 1607 and ending with 1980. The first and final time periods do not get as much emphasis on the exam. I do have on this slide a screenshot of the textbook that was issued to your students. I gave that textbook to your students last week with the instructions to leave it in good condition at home. They are going to be using it throughout the course, but there's no need for them to be bringing it back and forth to school. The book will stay in better condition if it stays at home. Now, of course, I hope they use it at home. The exam that I'm preparing your sons and daughters to take is a multi-part exam, and it's got a lot of parts to it. The students basically are assessed in 4 different ways: through their answers to multiple choice questions, short answer questions, a document-based question, which is a long essay, and then another long essay question, that one without the supportive documents. Now, when I look at these 4 question types, I feel very good about how your students are prepared for the multiple choice section and the document-based question. Those are things that the students have had a lot of exposure to, not just in the social studies courses, but outside of our discipline as well. I'm probably going to end up spending more time getting them ready for the short answer questions and the long essay questions. Those tend to be skills that your typical 11th grader is going to struggle a little bit more at doing well than the other 2. And they'll get my emphasis. But a good AP course should be more than just about the exam. It should also be about the discipline that we're studying. And that's one of the things that really excites me about teaching this class. I get to engage with your students in the work of history, reading, researching, writing. I'm a 1998 graduate of Gettysburg College, and I've got the picture of the building where the history department is on that campus here on the slide. And one of the things I love about this class and about the way in which the College Board redesigned it about 5 years ago is it gives me more chances to do the work of history rather than just survey the facts. Over the past few years, I've had some invigorating chances to do some research of my own about the past. Pictured to the left is a Marine who served in World Wars II in Korea that I studied this past summer. To the right, you see pictured a young American serviceman. That's a GI named Lieutenant Duckworth who died on the day of the D-Day landings on June 6, 1944. Next to him is his wife that he had married just a week before. I had the privilege of studying Duckworth with a Central Bucks East student, a young lady who graduated last year as part of the class of 2018. And I got to see how powerful it was for a student, a senior, to engage in research like that. And then this summer, I was part of a program where I looked at two Marines. The Marine pictured to the right, you saw his picture earlier, that's Bruce Mathewson, who is actually a native of New Britain. To the left is a man who's a captain in the Marine Corps at that point. He eventually retired as a lieutenant colonel. I had the privilege of researching both of these men through a summer program, and then I had the privilege of eulogizing Staff Sergeant Mathewson where he's buried at the National Memorial Cemetery of the Pacific, located in Honolulu, a site that some people call the Arlington of the Pacific. Getting to do research that has taken me to places like Brittany American Cemetery, where I'll be traveling this summer, and 2 summers ago to Normandy American Cemetery has been invigorating for me. And I've seen what kind of power there is in having the opportunity to pursue historical questions, to read primary sources, to do the actual work of history. And as I think about AP US history, it's something that I really look forward to bringing to your sons and daughters. This is my first year teaching AP US history in a few years, but for many years of my time at East, this was the main course that I taught. And I'm really excited to have the chance to come back into it, having had the chance to do some personal research, and then also having the perspective that comes from taking a step back for a few years and working with some students in other courses. So I'm excited about my work with your sons and daughters. My first week with them has been really a lot of fun. They've got great personality, great intellect, and something I keep saying to them is that they remember a lot more of our nation's past from their work in 8th grade and 9th grade than they realize. So we're off to a good start. I'm enthused about working with them, and I hope that they get a good experience doing the work of history and getting ready for the national exam in May. Again, I encourage you to reach out to me with any questions that you have. I'm sorry I was not there to meet you in person tonight, but I look forward to the work I get to do with your sons and daughters, and also the chance to see you at the second back to school night in February. Thank you very much.